Alright guys, so the final part of A, which is going to be A3, isn't really dependent on A1 or 2, so let's go ahead and jot down A3 right here. This is what we're working on. Alright, so A3. If 140 million tons of waste ends up in the landfill and the rest is recycled, what percent of our products are being recovered? So we have to figure out, okay, so there's 200 million tons total. So this is our total. And we're saying 140 million of those tons, where do they end up? They end up in the landfill. Not very good. So what's 200 million minus 140 million? Well, that's pretty easily. It's only 60 million. So 60 million tons, where do they end up? Well, they're actually recycled. We recovered them, okay? They don't end up in the landfill. All right, so if it's asking for the percentage of our total products that are being recovered, we're not done yet, okay? You can't just say, oh, 60 million tons, that's what's recycled. Is that a percentage? No, not quite. So remember, a percentage is part of a whole, right? So our part that's recycled is 60 million tons. That's recycled. And our whole, our total, is going to be 200 million tons. So 200 million tons is going to be in the denominator. Well, this is pretty easy. This cancels out, right? We could even say these zeros cancel out. And I mean, there's like a million ways to do this, but eventually you're going to get the same number, okay? So let's say we just canceled out that times 10 to the 6. So now we have 60 over 200. And we're trying to get percent. And percent means 100. So how are we going to get so that this is the denominator of 100? Oh wait, 200 divided by 2 would give us 100. So if we do the same thing to the numerator, 60 divided by 2, that would give us 30 out of 100. 30 out of 100 is 30%. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is like, hey, I don't want to only cancel out these times 10 to the 6. I also see that these zeros here can be canceled out as well. So now we have 60 over 20, which is very similar to our 60 over 200. And we're like, oh, I'm still trying to get to 100 in this denominator. What if we multiply the denominator of 20 by 5 to get us 100? And let's do the same thing for our numerator. 6 times 5 would give us 30, and this still ends up with 30%. Okay? So you see how there are two methods to end up with the same answer. All right? Now, there are two key points here. One is that we just aren't, that we're not content with just reciting that, oh, it's 60 million tons. We have to be very careful and read the question. It's asking what percent of our product is recycled. So now we have to take that part that's recycled and divide it by our whole, okay? And give the whole percentage. All right, so that kind of completes part A for free response question 1. I'm going to do one more math question, and that's for, I believe, the later free response questions. It might be 3 or 4.